I remember the day everything changed, the day my world tilted on its axis. I was 35, a senior bank executive in New York City, but back then, I was just a teller, a mere cog in the vast machine of finance. They called me just a teller, and for a long time, I played along with their narrative, pouring coffee in the break room, always slated for the tasks no one else wanted, while my ambitions simmered beneath the surface. The executive board seemed so far away. A world I thought I could never penetrate, yet I would watch them, carefully taking notes in the margins of my mind, envisioning my own name on the plaque above a corner office. It was during those mundane days that I met Michael, a charming figure with a lopsided grin and dreams of his own. We bonded over late-night coffee runs and whispered dreams of success. I adored him, but deep down, I knew I could not let anyone, not even him, sway my ascent. While my heart was singing his praises, my ambition grew ever louder, a relentless drum that pushed me forward. Then came the fateful morning when I discovered Michael was seeing someone else, someone from upper management. My heart shattered, but instead of crumbling, I channeled that heartbreak into something far more potent: revenge. I threw myself into my work, crafting strategies that no one saw coming. I watched the way he laughed with her, and in that laughter, I found my focus. I plotted my rise through the ranks, fueled by the betrayal I felt. I began investing my savings, moving every penny I could into the bank's most profitable ventures. The whispers around the office buzzed like bees, and soon I was no longer just a teller. I became a force to be reckoned with, a name that struck fear into the hearts of those who once overlooked me. Bit by bit, I climbed that corporate ladder, each promotion a step closer to the life I desired. I slowly became a respected executive. The very title they had thought was beyond my reach. I found ways to outsmart those who doubted me, and in the process, I transformed my heartbreak into a cold, calculated strategy. When I finally reached the boardroom, I could feel Michael's eyes on me, filled with regret and wonder. He was now just a shadow of my past, and I was the embodiment of success, the woman who had taken her destiny into her own hands. I secured a position where I could influence the very groundwork of our bank, shifting millions in investments, while he was left watching from the sidelines. I remember the day I proposed a bold new venture, one that would triple our assets within a year. It was a high-stakes move, but one I knew would pay off in dividends. The boardroom was thick with tension as I presented my plan, the air crackling with energy. When the votes were cast, I won by a landslide. I felt the thrill of victory wash over me, a victorious wave crashing down on the remnants of my old life. But Michael, ever the opportunist, tried to worm his way back in. He approached me after the meeting, a sheepish look on his face, and said, "You have really made something of yourself." I smiled, but the words that followed were sharp as knives. "And you wanted me to believe I was just a teller?" I watched as the realization washed over him, that I had taken all the hurt he caused and turned it into fuel for my fire. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. I reveled in the power I had cultivated, my heart still cold from his betrayal. But just as I thought I had severed all ties, the past came creeping back. My parents, who had disowned me for chasing ambition instead of settling down, reached out. They had watched from afar as I climbed, but had never considered the sacrifices I made to achieve my vision. Now they begged for my advice, wanting to bask in the glow of my success, believing I could somehow pull them from the shadows they had cast me into. I listened, my heart twisting in a way I never expected. My parents had always wanted me to conform, to follow a traditional path. And when I broke free, they severed ties. Now they wanted to reconnect, to share in the fruits of my labor. I felt a whirlwind of emotions swirl within me. I had achieved everything I ever wanted. Yet a part of me felt that old ache creeping back in, the desire for their approval. This tug of war between revenge and forgiveness had reached a fever pitch in my soul, and I had to decide if I wanted to offer them the chance to be part of my life again. While I pondered this, a familiar face appeared in the lobby one morning. It was Michael, and he looked different. Gone was the boyish charm. Instead, he carried a weight of regret that was almost palpable. "I'm here to apologize," he said, and I could see in his eyes the sincerity that had once been absent. "I made a terrible mistake." I took a breath, the air heavy with unspoken words. "Mistakes can be powerful teachers," I replied, my voice steady and cold. "But people often forget that the lessons can take time to sink in." I saw him flinch at my words, and for a moment I felt a flicker of sympathy. But then I remembered the pain he caused. He had chosen to betray me, and now he stood before me, the tables turned. I knew that my revenge had served its purpose. I had become a force. I was no longer the girl he had wronged. I was Helena Montez, a name that commanded respect and a presence that demanded acknowledgement. As I walked away from him, I felt liberated, the weight of his betrayal finally lifting off my shoulders. I had emerged victorious from all of it, but not without scars. I had taken my pain and turned it into empowerment, my ambition carving a new path. I realized then that true justice was not about getting back at him. It was about building my own future. I would not be defined by my past or by the people who doubted me. I had crafted my destiny with my own hands, and in that victory, I had found my freedom. The tables had turned, and I was the one holding the cards. Now, as I sit in my corner office, I can see the skyline of New York City stretching before me, a testament to how far I have come. I may have started as just a teller, but now I own so much more than that. I have built an empire, one that will only continue to grow, and I will never forget the lessons learned on the way. My heart is stronger now, my ambition sharper. I have learned to trust my instincts and to ensure that my past will never define my future again. I am Helena Montez, and this is just the beginning. If you want to hear more about my journey, subscribe now and join me as I continue to navigate the highs and lows of this incredible life.